My question is in reference to when we have a smaller group of people or a large group of new people who don't know the Mass, and we're just using the deacon, we don't have the children available. The point was made that the deacon should be offering the cakes and the wine. Why not the priestess doing that? Why is it the deacon offering them when the priestess offers it to the priest?
The deacon is specified in here as being the one who's to be assisting the priest and priestess by, I think it specifies that the deacon, what does it say exactly? That he holds any implement as necessary. Do you remember where that is in there?
It's right after the flags.
Yes, it is.
In typically large, it is the priestess who gives that cake and the priest pours it wine.
Any appropriate weapon as may be necessary.
The deacon?
Still, that's not there doing nothing.
Yeah, the deacon and the children attend the priest and priestess ready to hold any appropriate weapons may be necessary. So the idea here is that it is the deacon and the children together who attend the deacon and the priestess and take care of those kind of actions. Now, as far as the priestess serving the elements go, I don't think we have a formal policy on this. I tend to prefer that the deacon do it because that's one reason, and the other reason is, at least the way that we practice it, the priestess is busy doing other things at that point. And Sora Helena would not want to be fiddling with the elements for each communicant at that point. For one thing, we have the communicant stand down here at the base of the steps, rather than going all the way up.
As an example,
she would have to get down off the altar to serve the elements in that case. Having a priestess get down off the altar poses a number of problems, because then she has to get back up.
The way we've done it is our communicants come up to the third step.
And communicate exactly as the
You're
priest
simply holding it, and the deacon refills the wine.
Mm-hmm.
And it works, I mean, there's no break in the communicating. And it seems a lot more personal. I mean, with them standing down further, it seems like you're sort of placing this barrier in between the communicant and the priestess.
Well, it might seem that way. I mean, there's really not. If you see the way it's done.
Right, I've never seen it that way, but I was just trying to explain the way we've done it.
I'm not saying don't do it that way.
Okay.
I'm going to have to think about that some more.
I think they're backing that argument up with the fact that it says, and
As the priest.
As
Yeah, and
the
I understand
priest.
that. That's
when
my
we do
point.
Mass tomorrow, we'll probably do it that way, so it might be interesting to see how we've done it. We did it last time.
Yeah.
that way.
In terms of psychology, I think it might come down to the basic social distances. The closer you are to somebody, the more intimate you are, and as the priestess is representing a divine mystery at that point, you're getting a direct intimate.
However, if you think about when it specifies that children are the ones that serve the elements, okay, they're basically functioning as servers, like the acolytes and the Catholic Mass, that how do you transfer that? Which is the logical opposite to transfer that function to? If you have the children who represent hey final in the tetragrammaton, I mean, does it go? I suppose you could say it goes up to the second day or the bottom of the tetragrammaton. Which is the logical progression there? Who would naturally take over that kind of a function if you don't have the children? Of course, it's best to have the children.
the way we've done it in the past is the priestess will hold the cup and the paten, and the deacon will then take whichever one from her and then turn around and serve. And this adds as a secondary element to just further the mercurical formula within that's inherent in the deaconate. And so she is bringing from the on high via the deacon, and he's strongly mercurical throughout the entire Mass, and then in turn celebrating. And then, like in my case, I will then return the cup to her hand and switch, and then fill the glass in between.
That's a really good point, because that is the deacon's function throughout the Mass, is being a communication function, communicating the
From on high to the
from on
people.
high and vice versa.
Right.
And also, that's a good way, I mean, that's a good intermediate step, because if you're using the justification that it says that people communicate as did the priest, if they have the children there, which is specified, then they're not doing that anyway, because it is the children who are offering the elements rather than the priestess. Okay, so
We've just
the intermediate step there, like I say, is who takes over that function.
Excuse me.
And I can still really see both ways, but again, I think it's a good
Well,
point, is that the deacon
we
still.
tried to make it very, very specific and point that it's noticed that the deacon is receiving those elements directly from the hand of the priestess.
Right.
And so on, and then immediately, once they've communicated the wafer, immediately returning the paten to her.
But the